Tell me a little bit about, in your experience, the responsibility that a board of directors has with leadership.
Oh, God help us. That's an oxymoron.
Speak to the oxymoron. Speak to the expectation. Speak to the reality. Speak to the opportunity.
Yeah. Within the club sector particularly, as I mentioned before, each of the people on the board are very intelligent, very dedicated, very smart and astute in business, in their business. They are very used to saying, this needs to be done, and it is done. Now you take that collective difference that all the different board members bring. I might have one that's a lawyer, I might have one that's a doctor, one that's a CEO over here. You bring them all together in a club environment, and two things happen. Number one, you do have that variety of skills and perspectives, which is tremendously valuable.
A great asset.
A great asset, because they're looking at the situation from different perspectives. By the same token, you've got a weakness in that they don't understand the club business is basically a committee business. You can't just walk in there and say, do this or do that. The club industry doesn't work that way. And they come in sometimes with a mentality that I can run my successful business, and darn it, I know how to cook an egg at home. I can run the restaurant. I know how to hit a driver off a tee-ball. I've played a lot of courses. I know what sand is good. I was at this club, and you know what they did there? Well, maybe what they did there doesn't work at this club, given the vision. Given the vision. Right? So that immediacy of working through that system can sometimes, and that personal fiefdom attitude is what I call it, is the downside of a board.
You identified that a board, that the unique nature of a board
And this is true of any
brings
board.
key assets.
Absolutely.
They all bring very key skill sets, capabilities as key assets. Yet we sometimes fail to utilize or engage them or synchronize them in their next role as board members. Does that suggest that there's a role for the chairman to be able to synchronize and lead these key people with their key assets, maybe in a different way than how we've looked at the traditional chairman's role in the past?
Well, a chairman is one thing. Before you get to a chairman's role, in the past, most boards are pretty incestuous in nature. Board members sit on the nominating committee. They tend to nominate the people that are their friends, that they play with, that they eat with. And so that continuance of thought process perpetuates itself. What we're starting to see as a trend is that boards now are being selected by skills needed on the board. In other words, instead of Dr. Joe now saying that Dr. Monica should be on the board, and I played with my wife, it should make a good thing. They eat out here a lot. That's not qualifications for a board. Maybe if Dr. Monica was in charge of or did a lot of work with healthy eating, and we know that trends from our radar screen says that nutritional aspect and health concerns are a major concern for members. She could bring that to the party. That's a good reason. But just because she's a friend, it's not a good reason. So boards have to start thinking about what skill sets are needed. This is one of those little floor plan things for the vision. What skill sets are needed on the board to bring the board forward into a new business environment?